Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we are continuing today's discussion from the Damodar Lila again, from the different angle. I will complete the past time where we left last time, and also we look at this Lila from the different angle and try to take some lessons. So let's get started with the prayers. Those who are joining me online, please join me in chanting. You can fold your hands and chant along with me. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nidinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Bhashyante Deshadarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining. So we'll start our discussion. Before we start, we'll just do the quick recap on what we discussed last time, so that those who are joining new or those who have forgotten already what we discussed, so some memory comes. Okay, so we are talking about this pastime of Damodar Lila, that how this Lila begins. So we gave the background also. Before that, this Lila happened and Krishna ate the mud, and Yashoda Mai asked Krishna to open the mouth, and then Yashoda Mai was astonished by seeing the entire universe in the mouth of Krishna. So now Krishna was little concerned that if I showed my opulence, the mood might change, Yashoda Mai's mood. She may treat me as God. So Krishna wanted to bring back the same mood here. Right. So because of that, Krishna did this pastime, and he woke up and he asked to feed the milk. And when Yashoda Mai was doing that, and then we heard the story that how milk was boiling inside, and Yashoda Mai left Krishna, touched inside, and then Krishna got a little upset, and all of that happened. So then Yashoda Mai was trying to chastise Krishna in order to discipline Krishna, right? So this disciplining Krishna is also, we need to understand very carefully the mood of Yashoda Mai. She is the devotee, and how a devotee should be. So devotee, as we heard in the Bhagavad Gita, what is the last instruction of Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter conclusion? Sarv dharman paritaja mamekam sharanam rajan. That one should surrender, right? So Yashoda Mai is one of the greatest devotee. So she is also a surrendered soul. But what the surrender means, we can understand from this pastime also. So surrender, anyway, we'll discuss a little later more. Surrender is not about just not doing anything, that you raise your hand is I'm surrender. Surrender is Yashoda Mai also. She is very diligent in doing duty. That, oh, Krishna is my son. This is my duty to take care of Krishna, to discipline him he should become, I should raise her as a very responsible boy. So she is always anxious about that. So in that mood, Yashoda Mai serving Krishna. So that is also the seva here. So Yashoda Mai is trying to tie Krishna, and then we saw that whole day long episode, 12 hours. Yashoda Mai was working hard, and I had to tie Krishna, but they are not able to bound Krishna. And that is where we stopped our discussion. So we'll discuss today what happens. Okay. So we discussed about God's greatness, the two features of God, God's greatness and God's sweetness. So actually, there are 5 kinds of knowledge. Let us understand this. What are the 5 different level of knowledge? It starts from Jada Vidya. Vidya means knowledge. So one knowledge is called the Jada Vidya. What is the Jada Vidya? The knowledge of this material world. Like what we learn here, software, medical, accounts, management, all of that. That is also knowledge, that is also Vidya, but this Vidya is called Jada Vidya. It can help you to live your life and maintain yourself in this world, but nothing beyond that. All of that, just for your survival. It's called the Jada Vidya. The next level to Jada Vidya is the second Vidya, which is called the Atma Gyan. So Vidya, the knowledge of the soul. That is how the Bhagavad Gita begins. In the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains in the second chapter that you are not the body, you are the soul. So wherein you understand that, okay, there's something beyond this body, bodily maintenance, bodily enjoyment, sense gratification, there's something soul. So that is called Atmagyan, next level knowledge. Third level of knowledge is called Nirved Brahma Gyan. So when you become more, start walking on the spiritual path, and then you understand few more things, then you understand, okay, there is something called the Brahman. Brahman means the source of everything, and then this is Nirved. There's no difference. Ultimately, everything is coming from the Brahman. So then you might have heard about that people talk about, okay, this is Brahman, everything is Brahman. We are also the part of Brahman. So then their aim is Aham Brahmasmi. That Supreme Lord, there's some energy, some Shakti, which is Brahman. We are also part of that Brahman. So the goal of life is to go and merge into that Brahman. Of course, that is a wrong conception. That is not the right understanding. And that is not the highest goal. But this is also next level of knowledge. So Jadavidya, Atmagyan, then knowledge of the Brahman. Now next level, once somebody reaches that, then further progress happens. Then what is the understanding? Then it is called Ishvara Aishwarya Gyan. Knowledge of the Bhagwan, but Aishwarya Gyan. This is what is the God's greatness. God is the source of everything. Everything is coming from God. He is all powerful. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravardade. God is all powerful. And we are all part and parcel of God. If you need anything, you want anything, go to God. God is powerful. God is merciful. So God is powerful and is merciful also. If you go and ask something, He can give you whatever you want. That is Aishwarya Gyan. Wherein you go and ask God, give me this, give me that, give me so many things. That is also a knowledge. People had to come to that level of understanding. And Vasudevam Sarvamidhi. Krishna is everything. Krishna is Supreme Lord. And He will fulfill all my desires, all my needs. So that is the fourth level. But there is something beyond that. Ishwar, Aishwarya Gyan. There is something beyond that. And that is what Krishna is showing in this pastime. What is that knowledge? So this knowledge is called Ishwarya Madhurya Gyan. Lord's sweetness, which is very, very secret, confidential knowledge. Not everybody knows. So when people see in all tradition, there is a concept of God. Most of the traditions, not only just Sanatana Dharma, but even other traditions also, Christianity, Islam, they talk about God's greatness, right? And they might call it in different language. And they go and ask. But this particular knowledge, the highest knowledge is Ishwar Madhurya Gyan, wherein you don't go and ask God, but God comes and asks you. That is next level. That is very, very confidential. So Yashodama is not asking Krishna, please give me this, give me that. Krishna is asking Yashodama, give me milk. Who is that Krishna? That Krishna is when He expands Himself into the Vishnu form, and in the form of Mahavishnu, He lies, or Kshirodaksai Vishnu, He lies on the ocean of milk. And now that same Lord comes in the form of a baby. He is asking, give me a little milk. And then Yashodama is feeding the milk, and Yashodama left him in between, and he's upset that I'm not sufficiently, you did not feed me enough, and I'm upset. He's getting upset because he did not get enough milk. Who? The Lord who is lying on the ocean of milk. So that is called God's sweetness. So this knowledge, this particular Lila and pastime, it is very, very confidential. Krishna does not reveal this kind of things to everyone. Right? So that is why this good fortune of Yashoda Mai and Nanda Maharaj has been described in the Bhagavatam. What is their good fortune? Yashoda Mai and Nanda Maharaj, extremely fortunate. So the Shukdev Goswami, the Bhagavatam explains, Aho Bhagyam, Nanda Gopa Prajogasam, Yan Mitram Paramanandam, Purna Brahma Sanatanam. Aho Bhagyam. What a good fortune that this Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai. What is happening? That Paramananda Sanatanam. So it says the Supreme Lord who is the source of everything, he's playing in their courtyard just like that. What a good fortune that they have got. So they have glorified that they're more fortunate than even the Devaki and Vasudeva. Devaki and Vasudeva got the fortune to give birth to Krishna. But then after that, Krishna left. Those sweet pastimes Krishna did only with Yashoda Mai and Nanda Maharaj. So this Yashoda Mai's position, it has been glorified. It's a very, very unique position. So because Yashoda Mai is in the mood of Vasalya Bhav, the Madhurya Bhav, very sweet. So when this rasa, this sweetness takes over, then Lord's greatness is covered. They cannot see God's greatness. So we saw that in the just previous chapter, that Krishna showed the universe in the mouth. So now she was kind of astonished, bewildered, but again she was covered. Because in this particular mood, what happened? The rasa always dominates, not the tattva. They say that Krishna is powerful, is doing a lot of, is killing the demons, he's showing the universe in the mouth. But then their Madhurya Bhav takes over. Right? So that is what we are understanding through this pastime. Okay, and then we discussed about the mystery behind. Tell him to just not make noise. Okay, so mystery behind two fingers. We discussed about that what is the understanding. So one is our own endeavor and one is Lord's mercy. So we should always understand that if we are interested in capturing Krishna, then these two factors should always be taken into consideration. We should do our efforts and then we should wait. So that is the principle that Krishna explained. Karmanyavadikaraste ma phalesu kadachana. You do your duties and then be dependent on me for the results. So how we can put it in a formula? Simple formula is this. When you do something, then do, even in the spiritual life, in the devotional life also. When you do any seva, do seva as if everything depends on you. If you don't do your 100%, then you'll not get the result. As if everything depends on you. And once you're done the seva, then you should think that everything depends on Krishna. Otherwise, what happens? We can misunderstand this. Ultimately, Krishna is in control. Without Krishna's sanction, won't happen anything. So if Krishna wants to give me the result, I should aram se sit. Why I should unnecessarily take the anxiety? No. This not taking anxiety does not mean surrenderance. People many times misunderstand this principle of Sharanagati. That, oh, we had to be surrendered. We should be dependent on Krishna. So I am dependent on Krishna, so I should not worry about doing the things. This is not called surrenderance. This is called irresponsibility. So in the name of surrenderance, you can become irresponsible if you won't understand carefully. So we have to very, very carefully understand that do your best, your endeavor when you do. And after that you are done, make sure that you have done your best 100% and then wait for the Lord's mercy. So this is the combination, Krishna's mercy and our endeavor. And by Krishna's mercy, we can get the result. So here we are seeing this particular pastime we discussed also that we are taking time. So adrastva parishramam Krishna. So we saw that when Krishna saw parishramam, the complete labor of Yashoda Mai, she was exhausted, she was sweating, and then kripya asit swabandhane. Krishna decided swabandhane. That okay, now I should get bound. So that is how we can bind Krishna, we can capture Krishna. So many times when people ask, why I'm not able to meditate or hold my mind, my consciousness onto Krishna. So probably we need to do a little more efforts. And also we should very fervently, very intensely, we need to pray to Krishna. Krishna, please bless me. So this is the combination that we already discussed. Okay. Now we are talking about all contradictions are reconciled here. So how Krishna through this, just to manifest this feature of his sweetness, that how Krishna let go his greatness. Let us see that what happens here. So Krishna is known as Atmaram. Atmaram means Krishna is self-satisfied. Krishna doesn't need anything from outside to get the satisfaction. Right? Krishna is called, I am Atmaram, but here I am not satisfied. My satisfaction depends on what? Yashoda's milk. Unless she feed me enough, I'm not satisfied. So Krishna's Atmaram feature is gone. Because that shows that Krishna is powerful. But here Krishna is not showing his power. In Vrindavan, there's no scope for the power. Only love, only sweetness. Says, I am no more Atmaram now in Vrindavan. I need milk. Give me the milk. So the self-satisfied Lord is asking the milk. Then Krishna is also called Aptakam. Aptakam means just little offering. Patram, Pushpam, Valam, Doyam, Yome, Bhaktya, Vrachadi. Just little offering, Krishna is happy and satisfied. But he is not satisfied again here. Yashodama gave the milk. He said, no, that's not enough. Why are you giving little? I want more. So Krishna is letting go his Aptakama feature also. And then Krishna is also Adokshaja. Adokshaja means that Ada Akshaja iti Adokshaja. This is another name of Krishna. One who is beyond the sense perception, one who cannot be understood, one who cannot be captured by your senses, by your abilities. Means Krishna cannot be captured by any means. The big yogis, they're sitting in meditation, trying to capture Krishna in the heart. They are not able to capture Krishna. Here Yashodama is capturing Krishna. She caught Krishna. Krishna is running, trying hard to escape. Yashodama caught from the back. Say, come, I'll tie you now. So this is also gone. Adokshaja is also gone. Then Krishna also, known as another feature of Krishna, is Trigunatit. He is beyond all the influence of the three modes. But Krishna got angry. Anger is the sign of the influence of the mode of passion. Kamesha, Krodesha, Rajoguna, Samudbhava. Krishna explained, right? In 3.37 in Bhagavad Gita we read that when the mode of passion overpowers, the symptom of that is Kam and Krodh. So Krishna is Trigunatit, but here Krishna is getting angry, as if he is under the influence of mode of passion. Why otherwise he'll get angry? Krishna should not get angry, but he is getting angry. So let go his Gunatit also, Trigunatit. Also, Krishna says, although I am Kal, Kal means the feature of the Lord that everyone afraid of. Last time we saw the word, that verse from the Bhagavatam, that even the wind blow because of Krishna's fear. The ocean does not cross the boundary because of Krishna's fear. The sun shines because of Krishna's fear. Right? So that Krishna, that everyone is fearful of him, that Krishna is fearful of Yashoda Majestic. How much fearful? Rudantam mohor netram yugmam marjantam karam bhoja yugmena sa atanka netram. He's terrified. Not only just scared, he's terrified. And one can see in his eye that how much he's scared. And then literally started crying. And he's rubbing his eyes like this. Crying. He's so scared, so frightened. So what happened to his Kala feature? Gone already. Right. Krishna is also known as Lakshmipati. So it has been explained in Brahma Samhita. Lakshmi Shahastra Satasam Brahmase Vimanam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. That Krishna, who's the Govinda, who's Adi Purusha, the Supreme Lord. What is that? In the spiritual word, Lakshmi Shahastra. Not one Lakshmi. Thousands and thousands of Lakshmis are standing in the queue, waiting for their turn to render some service to Krishna. They're not getting the turn only. They're waiting. Amara number ka aayega. So Lakshmi is what they are doing, the seva. They're actually cleaning the floor there for Krishna. The dust they're cleaning, dusting. They know dust only in the spiritual world. But they're figuring out if there is a one single speck of dust is there, let us find this opportunity to clean the dust. But they're not getting the chance. So that Lakshmipati, what he is doing? He becomes the chore. He's stealing the butter. Makhan chore. Right? So that Lakshmipati feature is gone. Also, Krishna is, another name of Krishna is Muktaya. Muktaya means that he is completely free. He is not bound by anything. But here Krishna is bound. You see in the Damodar Lila, Krishna was bound by the Yashoda Mai's rope. That Muktaya was free. Nobody can bind him. But he got bound here. And also Krishna is known as Mukunda. Mukunda means Mukti Data. Krishna Prabhupada explained that. Mukti Data Prasedatham. One who gives the mukti, one who gives the liberation. He is known as Mukunda. So Krishna is the one who gives liberation to everyone. And that Krishna is asking for the liberation now. Because he is bound now. He's wondering, hey, somebody should come and help me to open this Yashoda. My tied me here. I want to go play outside. But nobody is there to help. He's struggling there. So that Mukunda, that Lord, is bound here. So how Krishna is bound? So the secret is revealed in this pastime. Tata prema bhaktim. So kamya precha. So Krishna can be bound by prema bhakti. By the rope of devotion, the rope of love, Krishna can be captured. So here we see so much of contradiction that Krishna is no more Krishna here. His greatness is gone. Only the feature of his sweetness is being displayed through this pastime. So now coming back to our discussion where we left, why Krishna was taking so long to be bound. It's very interesting here that there was a delay in decision, right? Why it took 12 hours to be bound. So what was happening is when Yashoda Mai and all these ladies of the Braja, they came, they're all working hard to tie Krishna. Then the whole universe was there to see what is happening, the Supreme Lord, everybody trying to bind him. And then he's all-powerful Lord. Parashya Saktir Bibideva Shruyate. Right? Krishna has innumerable energies, Shaktis. So all Krishna's energies, all the Shaktis, they all also gathered there. Says our Lord is getting bound. We have to do something about that. How our Lord can be bound? So Krishna has 16 Shaktis. Of course, it is innumerable Shaktis, but 16 categories. So all those Shaktis, so in the spiritual world, everything and everyone is a personality. So even these Shaktis, they're all personalities. So they all gathered there. And then the discussion is going on. So now the Shakti, this is called the Aparichinnata Shakti, all pervasiveness. So these different Shaktis, they enables different feature of the Supreme Lord. So Krishna is all pervasive. So that all pervasiveness of Krishna is manifested through this Aparichinnata Shakti. Oh, my Lord is all pervasive. So the Shakti is saying that how Krishna can be bound, how he can be limited only just 2 feet rope. He is all pervasive, unlimited. So he cannot be bound. Then there is a Vibhuda Shakti. Krishna is all powerful. So this Shakti is saying, hey, he is all powerful. How somebody can bind him like that? Then he cannot be all powerful. If he is bound by someone like this, then how somebody will call him all powerful? So no, he should not be bound. And then there is a Kanti Shakti, the beauty. They're saying, no, if somebody is bound, somebody is arrested. Arrested means if somebody put you in jail and punished, then, you lose your charm, the glow. So if he's bound, then he will lose all his Kanti. So he should not be bound. He is all attractive, he is all beautiful. So he cannot be bound. Then Kirti Shakti, fame. What will happen to the fame of Krishna? People will say, oh, Krishna was bound. What kind of God he is? No, so all the Shaktis like that, the Sri Shakti, which is all wealth, Gir Shakti, intelligence, Tushti, satisfaction, Ila, tolerance, Urja, vigor, Vidya, knowledge, Kala Shakti, time, Vibhuti, opulence, Mahamaya Shakti, external energy, Yog Maya Shakti, internal energy, and then Jiva Shakti, living end. So all these Shaktis, they all gathered there. And then the discussion is going on the table. Krishna should be bound or not? So everybody, all these 15 Shaktis, they're in the favor that Krishna cannot be bound. How he can be bound? If he is bound, then he is not our Lord. What will happen to our job? We lose our job. We have to make sure that Krishna is not bound. So you see that sometime when a lot of people gather together over some discussion, and a lot of discussion goes back and forth. Right? So that was happening here. And there was no conclusion. And it was morning to evening, 15 Shaktis. But there's another Shakti of Krishna. What is that Shakti? Which overpowers all these 15 Shakti altogether. That is called the 16 Shakti, that is called Kripa Shakti. So Krishna's kripa, Krishna's mercy is more powerful than all the Shaktis together. So all these 15 personalities, they're saying, no, 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 no. Kripa Shakti says, no, Krishna has to be bound. That is the kripa. Kripaya asit swabandhane. That is what has been explained in the verse, that Krishna got bound because he wanted to show his mercy. Drashtva parishamam Krishna. By seeing the hard labor of Yashodamai, then he says, okay, now I'll show my kripa. So in front of kripa, then all the Shaktis, they cannot stand. So that is why there's a lot of delay in decision. And then finally, when all this discussion happens, finally Kripa Shakti comes, says, okay, Krishna should be bound. And then all back and forth argument and defeated. And Krishna said, tell what is the final conclusion? Should I get bound or not? Finally said, no, you should get bound. So Krishna got bound by this Kripa Shakti. So that is what is the sweetness of Krishna. And all powerful, all pervasive, the Lord can be bound by his own Kripa. Kripya asit swabandhane. So that is Krishna's Kripa Shakti. Okay, so we're talking here about one very important thing. Let us try to learn one lesson, that how one can intensify one's relationship with the Lord in our spiritual life. The whole idea of spiritual life is, first we understand our relationship with the Lord, and not only just we understand, that we can understand. Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, Mamai Vamsho, Jiva Loke, Jiva Buddha, Sanatana, all these living entities, they are my part and parcel. Mamai Vamsho, all these living entities are my Amsha. So that you understand. But the bhakti does not end there. The bhakti begins there. Once you understand you are part and parcel of Krishna, then next what? How to act in that relationship and how to intensify that relationship. So the whole idea of this Bhakti Marg is how we can intensify our relationship. So we can learn from this particular pastime of Damodar Lila. So what is happening here is, see, Krishna, though he is all powerful, we understood all of that, his greatness, but Krishna is showing something else. And he is teaching us that this relation how it can be intensified. So Krishna, though he is all powerful, but he manifests himself as if he is very weak. Not exactly weak, but he become vulnerable. Vulnerable means that it's just like, sometimes say you have some boss in the office. So anything, any problem, you go to the boss and say, it is beyond my ability to deal with this situation. So please suggest me some solution. So this boss is very smart, very powerful. Every time you go and boss give you the answers of all your questions. So you have great awe and reverence for that boss. But one time when you go to this boss, and this boss, when you go with your problem, boss says, I myself have the problem. You know what? My wife, she tortures me a lot. Suggest me something how to deal with it. And this person is taken back. He's the boss. I thought he knows everything, he can handle everything, but he is telling his problems to me. Then it actually creates an intimacy between that boss and that employee or anyone, because he immediately feels that I am someone important. That is why he's sharing. He is such a powerful man, and he's sharing with me his personal problems. So it means he has a lot of confidence, a lot of trust in me, right? So the two things, one thing is love and one thing is trust. So you can love so many people, but not necessarily you trust so many people. Even the people whom you love, but not necessarily that you trust. For example, the parents love their child, the small boy, small baby, they love him. But do they share everything about their finances, their problems in life, and so many other things? Because that child is not mature to be shared all of those things, right? So they don't share that. Still is not trustworthy. They tell something to the child will go and announce in the whole world. Oh, my mom was saying that she is going through some problem. Now whole world knows that there's some problem going on. So they cannot trust, right? So there is love and there is trust. So trust is next level. In love, trust is next level. When you are very intimate, and that relation is very, very strong, and a lot of confidence is there, then the trust comes. So if some boss comes and he shares his problem, it means that boss trusts you. And immediately that sense of feel, needed has been created. Oh, I'm important. I'm needed in this relation. So Krishna is creating that kind of a situation. And Krishna is all powerful, but he says that I need. This is the problem. I'm hungry. Give me the food. Give me the milk. So Krishna becomes vulnerable. So this vulnerability actually increases the lovability. Start becoming more lovable to that person when you become vulnerable to someone. So that is what Krishna is doing here. And then that actually helps to intensify that relation, intensify that surrender. So we are talking about the surrender. We are learning the surrender. Now, what is this surrender is? So the surrender is also very, very important to understand. That surrender is not about just raising the hands. So there are two parts of surrender. One is dependence and one is diligence. What is this dependence and diligence? We have the two examples here. Dependence is the example of Draupadi. She tried. She tried when she was stripped naked in the assembly. She tried to hold the sari and all of that. But at one point in time, she realized that it is beyond my power. Then she surrendered by raising the hand. That is called dependence. Right? When things goes beyond your control, be dependent on Krishna, but not before that. Also, another part of surrender is diligence. So Draupadi, she raised the hand in surrenderance, but Arjuna did not raise the hand. What he raised? He raised his bow and arrow. He's also surrendered. But see the surrender difference? So you don't surrender, okay, I'll not do anything. So Yashoda Mai is not surrendering just like that. He is very diligently working hard. I had to tie Krishna. So this is how the seva should be done. When we take up any seva, when you take up any project, should be very, very diligent in doing that seva. No stone should be unturned. Try your best. That is how Prabhupada was. Prabhupada showed by his example. Prabhupada was a very strong-headed person. He'll not easily give up on anything. There's a lot of headache. There's this nice pastime of that how in the Mumbai, when they started this temple in Juhu, they bought this land and then a lot of challenges were going on. The person, his name was Mr. Nair. He sold the land to Prabhupada and they gave the advance. And later, this person was little, cheater kind of a person. So he thought, anyway, these people are sadhus. So I can trick these people. I am powerful. He was a land mafia. So he thought, I'll just take away the money and then kick them out. So that was his plan. He took some advance money, some few lakhs. And then later he says that, I cannot give you the land. Prabhupada says, that we already promised. Prabhupada says, I already promised to my Lord that I have to build you the temple here. So Prabhupada was not like, oh, we are sadhus, but we'll fight. Okay, whatever Krishna wishes, no problem. He took away our money. No, Prabhupada is not like that. Prabhupada says, I promised already to Radha Raj Bihari that there has to be temple. I had to build the temple. How can I go back on my promise to the Lord? So let everything come on the way, but there has to be the temple. And then a lot of back and forth, court case, fighting, and this person was like a gunda. So these devotees came. There was already a small setup, a small shade, and some small deities were there. So this person, this Mr. Nair, is a gunda like a person. He sent some gundas that go and beat all the devotees up and they kick them out from this land. So they all came literally and they started beating and all of that happened. It's a very, very inspiring story. But Prabhupada was not, so much is going on, so chalo, forget it. No, he says, I had to fight this court case. Very, very strong. So this is called diligence. That very carefully you have to do the seva. Make sure that all the possible means should be used in the service of the Lord to achieve the results for Krishna. So sometimes this surrenderance is seen as, incapability. Oh, these people are all fanatic people. These people are weak people. They're simply just can't do anything and simply saying, oh, we are surrendering Krishna. No, devotees are very, very strong. They won't give up on anything. They keep trying different ways and means to get the things done. Right. And then one time Prabhupada was sitting with some of his devotees and back and forth they're narrating, Prabhupada, this court case, this happened, that happened on this land case. And Prabhupada was saying that, oh, this is too much of headache, too much of anxiety handling this case. I have so many things to do. At that time, the movement was growing all around the world, and all his time energy is being, sucked away in just this one project. It was in this too much of anxiety. And the devotee was suggesting, Prabhupada, I think we should just give up on this. Prabhupada says, yes, it is too much of anxiety, but it is okay to take anxiety for Krishna. We should continue. We cannot go this Gunda to take away our money. It is Krishna's money. He cannot take away this money. Prabhupada was very, very strong. And then finally, a lot of things happened and they got the land. And then there is a beautiful temple now today. So this is called surrenderance. So here we see, what is the surrenderance? Surrenderance is a dynamic dance of dependence and diligence. That's in English. So it's not simply just raise your hand and say, oh, Krishna, whatever you wish, and let it happen. Not like that. You do your best and leave the rest. So there is a dependence and there is a diligence. So that is what is the surrenderance here. So what happens? We are talking about the greatness and the sweetness. So with the greatness comes submission, and with the sweetness comes affection. So what is the real bhakti? Real bhakti is a combination of submission and affection. Simply just affection. That is called the Sahajiya Bhakti, immature Bhakti, which is condemned by the Acharyas. Many times you will see that sometimes people, they just keep carrying Laddu Gopal everywhere. They're sleeping with Laddu Gopal in their bed and all of that. This is not the standards as per the scriptures. All sentimentalism. We should read from the scriptures. We should learn from the great Acharyas that how we should express our bhakti. You cannot concoct your own ideas. So people, somebody was sharing, I remember, and when Mataji, she is always carrying Laddu Gopal. Say, Prabhu, when I go for the movie also in the theater, I take my Laddu Gopal. So I book one ticket for my Laddu Gopal. So they're thinking this is my expression of bhakti. And sometimes the ordinary person is, oh, wow, this Mataji is so wonderful devotee. No, but that is not the standard. You're going to do all kinds of random things, nonsense things, and say, this is my bhakti. There has to be the right way to express your bhakti. You should understand who is God and how God should be treated. And then you express your affection. So, no, God is like our baby. Yes, there is a mood of Vatsalya Bhav. But the point is, we should understand, are you already there on that level to express Vatsalya Bhav? We are not on that level. It's the very highest level. Very, very advanced level, I mean. So before the Vatsalya Bhav, you should understand. So that is why the two kinds of bhakti is being explained in the scriptures. One is called the sadhana bhakti, and then one is another advanced level is called raganuga bhakti. So we are all sadhakas. So artificially and prematurely, we should not do all such things. It becomes Sahajiism. On the name of devotees, in the devotee tradition, in the bhakti tradition, if we are not careful, if you don't consult with the devotees, the acharyas, we can fall under the category of this Sahajiism. Oh, I treat Krishna like a baby. I treat Krishna, I give the bath Krishna with something like that. There is standard way, yes, there is a way to give the bath, but how you should give the bath? So, I use the head and shoulder shampoo for Krishna. You cannot use like randomly whatever you like. There is a way. Why I take Krishna to, for the movie. Krishna is not interested in watching the movies. Krishna is telling you also don't watch all those nonsense movies. I am already creating a lot of movies for you to watch. Damodar Lila. One episode, another Lila. Wonderful movie is going on and you are going and watching some nonsense movie and you're taking me also along and you are asking me also to watch that nonsense movie. And you're saying this is bhakti. This is my affection. No, this is not affection. This is sentimentalism. So one should be very, very careful. So that is why it is very, very important that in the beginning we understand God's greatness. That is how you see that how Vyasadeva very intelligently how he's compiled the whole Bhagavatam. He starts the Bhagavatam by explaining the entire creation. What this creation is? Cosmic manifestation, different incarnation of the Lord, so many things. When you read all those descriptions, you will be like, wonder we stuck. Oh my God, God is like this, greatness. And then after explaining so much of detail in 9 cantos, on the 10th canto, Krishna come to the sweetness. Say that Supreme Lord, he is bound by Yashodama here. So you don't mistake that Krishna. You don't mistreat that Krishna. So it is important to understand the greatness of the Lord and then also the sweetness of the Lord. So this greatness brings the submission and then sweetness brings the affection, right? So that is how in the bhakti is. So as I was explaining, in the bhakti, when a devotee becomes a very advanced devotee on the Raganuga level from the sadhana bhakti. So one cannot directly, artificially, there's no shortcut that you can directly jump onto the Raganuga bhakti. Raganuga means spontaneous devotion, that you are always in that bhav. You cannot artificially jump onto that. You have to go through the sadhana bhakti. You have to purify yourself. We have a lot of anarthas, lust, anger, greed, jealousy, enviousness, a lot of materialistic desires. First get rid from all of those things, then show your affection. Artificially don't try to imitate. So this is also another important lesson that we should learn, that one should not try to become Yashoda. So wow, Yashoda is a wonderful devotee. I also treat my Krishna, my Laddu Gopal like my Lala. No, one should not try to become like Yashoda. One should try to follow in the footsteps of Yashoda. That is what is our system. That is what is our tradition. Mahajano yena gatasa panta, following in the footsteps of the great devotees. We don't try to imitate them. Oh, Krishna was dancing in the Ras Lila. We should also dance, following in the footsteps. No, you cannot dance. Krishna is pure. As soon as you go in that kind of association, you'll be contaminated with lust only. Nothing else. Right? So that is how our tradition is. And we should try to follow in the footsteps of Krishna. Artificially don't try to imitate those great devotees. So Krishna, so when we become that advanced on the Raganuga Bhakti, and that Bhakti, Krishna becomes subordinate to you. Krishna chooses to become subordinate. So here in this particular pastime, we see that how Krishna is vulnerable so that he can exchange the affection with the devotees. Right? To show his affection or to intensify that affection, he becomes subordinate to you. Though Krishna is not subordinate, but he chose to be subordinate. Okay, so this is the pastime that happened here. So then what happens? Now we'll just quickly summarize this. A lot of lessons to be learned. So then after that, Krishna was bound. And then when Krishna was bound, and then Yashodama said, okay, whole day gone in binding Krishna. Diwali day, a lot of things has to be done. And all dispersed. Krishna is standing there alone, bound. He's waiting, what is this? What will happen? And then Krishna thought, okay, a lot of pending task is there. Yashodama pending task is some cleaning, lighting lamp, Diwali preparation and all that. For Krishna also a lot of pending task. What is the task? Krishna remembers one of the promise of his devotee. So Krishna never misses the promises of his devotee. If devotee promise something, Krishna says, Name bhaktya pranashadi. My devotee never perishes. The words of my devotees can never stand false. Devotee says something, Krishna will make his words wrong. But devotee's words should not go wrong. So Krishna never misses on devotee's promises. So I remember one of the promise of his devotee. Who is that devotee? One great devotee, which is Narad Muni. So Narad Muni, one time, when he was traveling around, we know that how the Narad Muni kept traveling around the universe. So he came across these two sons of the Kuber. Kuber is the treasurer of the demigods, very, very celebrated personality. So the two sons, Nal Kubera and Mani Griva. So they were like, they say in Hindi that Amir Baap ki bigdi ba aulad. So they were like two spoiled son of the rich father because he's the treasurer. So they were completely blinded by that opulence of the father. So they were in the garden and playing in the water with some women. And they were in, what is it? They are just in all kinds of not in appropriate situation. And they were just trying to play. And then when Narad Muni comes there, so, these women, they notice Narad Muni, they covered themselves. But these people, these two boys, Nalkuvar and Manigriva, they're so intoxicated, they could not even recognize the presence of the great says Narad Muni. They're completely in a naked situation. So Narad Muni, as being a great devotee and very compassionate by heart, that sadhus are like that, says, look at these people. They're the son of the celebrated personality Kubera, and they're doing all this abominable act here. So he took the compassion on these two boys and he wanted to help them. So their help is, Prabhupada explains in the chapter in the Bhagavatam, Prabhupada says the sadhus sometimes they help the people, those who are blinded, those who are intoxicated. They help them by chastising them. So it's like when somebody is infected, there's some infection is growing, you go to the doctor. Doctor will cut open your skin. Process is very painful, but that process is needed to cure your boil, your infection. So the sadhu sometimes they're very harsh. They seems to be very harsh. They're very strong because they want to cure your infection. So this Narad Muni took the compassion on them. I should help them. These people are so blinded and they're spoiling father's name and they're spoiling their own life. So the Narad Muni actually, out of compassion, he curses them. He says, you foolish people, what you're doing, you are just wasting your life and you are lying here in a naked situation like the tree. Tree is always naked. So better, you are not fit to be in the human form of life, in the human body. Better you become the tree. So that was the curse of Narad Muni. But then the sadhu's curse is also a blessing. We should always remember. The sadhus, if they curse also, that is always a blessing. So Narad Muni's blessing was that now you become the tree, but where you will become the tree? You will become the tree in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. So that is the blessing. Because you have to be delivered. And you're becoming so blind. You're becoming so intoxicated, completely forgetfulness of this human form of life, forgetfulness of the Supreme Lord. So then, the only punishment, only cure for you is you should be punished with the poverty. So you become like a tree. And then they came to the senses. So please forgive us. Great says, yes, I cursed you, that cannot be taken back. But along with this curse, the blessing is you will be becoming the tree in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. And then when Krishna will come, you will get the chance to see Krishna. And then Krishna will deliver you. So that was the blessing. So now, Narad Muni promised Krishna will come and he will deliver you. So then Krishna, remember now, this is the time. So where are these two boys? Okay, and there are the two trees here. So this two trees called the Yamala Arjuna tree, right, in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. So Krishna said, okay, now this is the time to deliver them. So I should do, nobody around. Krishna is tied by the wooden mortar, that grinding mortar, that ukkal. So Krishna said, how to deliver now? I'm bound here. How would I go and deliver them? First, I should get delivered. Right? Somebody should come and open me. So Krishna tried, and then, he started, small boy, big grinding mortar. And then Krishna says, okay, let me do something. And then Krishna started doing something. What he did, he tried to pull that. And he was putting a lot of force. A small boy, how much force he can put? But he managed. The ukkal just fell off. So it was standing like this, fell off like this. And then Krishna started dragging it. Small boy tied with a rope, and then he's dragging. The ukkal is getting dragged. You can see in the fourth picture. And when he was just going, and then he started crossing through these two trees. And then he passes through the trees. This ukkal got stuck between the two trees. Krishna says, okay, now this is the time to deliver them. And Krishna pushed a little bit, the little force, and these two trees, they crashed on the ground. And then came two very brilliant personalities. So these are the two boys, the sons of Kubera, Nalkuvar and Manigriva. So they came there, and then they remembered, and then they offered the prayers. So here is a lesson, you see, this ukkal, which is bound, but that becomes an instrument to deliver these two trees. So though they themselves are bound, but still they can deliver. So similarly, by the mercy of the Lord, by the empowerment of the great Acharya like Prabhupada, though we are all bound, we are conditioned soul, but by their mercy, by their instruction, say, go and preach this message. So we ourselves are not liberated, but you go and preach out, and we can become an instrument to liberate others. So that is what we learn, that when you follow in the footsteps of Krishna, like this ukkal was following in the footsteps of Krishna, though you are bound, but you can liberate others. So this ukkal liberated, and these two personalities came out from there, and then they started offering the prayers to Krishna and they glorify the Supreme Lord. And those prayers are there by the Nalkuver and Manigriva. And then when this tree crashed on the ground, there was a huge thundering sound, big trees. And by that sound, all Nand Maharaj, Yashoda Mai, and all the neighbors, what happened, and they all came. And as usual, it was very common sight for them. And every now and then, Krishna is found in those kind of situation. Krishna is always safe. Sometimes some demon is lying dead. Sometimes trees are lying dead. Somehow Krishna is just playing and they came out of concern and worry. And the Nand Maharaj immediately comes and Nand Maharaj is wondering like, who tied Krishna? How he is tied like this? So Nand Maharaj comes and he opened Krishna. He didn't know that because they were not there at home. Nand Maharaj was outside whole day when all this was happening. So he didn't even know that Krishna was bound like this. So he comes and then he opens Krishna and took him in the lap. He's wondering what happened and he's just making sure that Krishna is safe, all good. And they're wondering like how these two big trees fell off. So there are some small boys, Krishna's friends. They're also playing. And then the whole group was there. They're trying to help Krishna that time. How we can release Krishna. Krishna in the meantime did all this. So these all small boys, they came, hey, we know that how it fell. So they said, okay, tell. So they were inquiring from these boys, what exactly happened? Tell. So they're saying, oh no, Krishna was going across these trees and then he pushed and the tree fell off. And then suddenly two personalities came out and they're praying. They're just circumambulating the Krishna. They're offering the prayer. They're bowing down and they're giving all these narrations. Nobody's taking them serious. They're saying these boys, these small kids, they're talking something, you know. So that is the mood. You see the how rasa always overpowers in Vrindavan. They cannot see Krishna's greatness. They only see Krishna's sweetness. So that rasa always remains in the forefront. Though these boys are giving a lot of description, but they say, no, that's okay. And let us pray to the Lord. The Lord, please always keep our Krishna protected under your shelter and like that. So this is what is the pastime of this beautiful pastime, Damodar Lila. So we learn that. So what we can learn a lot of things. But the few things that we should take is the secret of two fingers. We should always remember our endeavor and Krishna's mercy. Diligence plus dependence, combination of both. And we should not try to imitate the great devotees like Yashoda Mai. We don't try to become Yashoda, but we try to follow in the footsteps of Yashoda Mai, that she is always in the mood of serving Krishna. 24/7, she's thinking about Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So that is what is the goal of her life. That Krishna says now that Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Yatantasya Dradavrta. Always think of me. Manmana Bhav Madbhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskar. That we always think about Krishna. That is what is the confidential message of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita towards the end. So how we can always think of Krishna? So there are different ways. So the simplest way of thinking about Krishna is by chanting Krishna's name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. By chanting of this Mahamantra, we develop that remembrance of Krishna. And also, we proactively take up some seva for Krishna. When you take the seva, there's a lot of anxiety to get the results. That anxiety is good. That anxiety for Krishna is good. If you don't take the anxiety for Krishna, you have to take the anxiety for Maya. In this material world, you cannot be without anxiety. Krishna said, this is dukhalyam ashashvatam. You have to have the dukh, you have to have the pain, you have to have the tensions, you have to have the anxieties. Now, choice is this anxiety or that anxiety. There's no two options like anxiety or no anxiety. No. Anxiety for Krishna or anxiety for Maya. So we had to very carefully choose that, okay, we should take anxiety for Krishna. How can I serve Krishna? How can I do something for Krishna? How can I share this knowledge of Krishna to many people at the cost of sacrificing my personal comforts, my personal time, my resources, my energy, my money, and at times at the cost of taking some risk. Devotees should be very daring. Devotees are daring. One should become daring. So that is the process of bhakti. So bhakti is not some sentimentalism, as many times understood by some Sahajiya people. Bhakti means just chodo garbar chalo Haridwar. That is not bhakti. Give up all your duties, your responsibilities, and just sit in somewhere in seclusion in the forest, hold on to the mala, keep chanting Mala, Hare Krishna, or some other mantras, and thinking of all kinds of sense enjoyment. That is not bhakti. Purify yourself by the sadhana bhakti. So that is how Prabhupada very, it's very ingenious of Prabhupada that he has given us the right combination of right balance of sadhana, seva, swadhyaya, sadhu sangha, and sadachar. So we should follow all these 5 S. We do the sadhana by chanting or whatever prescribed round, 16 round that Prabhupada has given us. Then along with that, we do the swadhyaya, we read the scriptures, and then also we do the seva. And then with seva, a lot of purification happens. And then we try to be in the association of sadhu sangha so that we keep our consciousness intact. And then also in the devotee association, we learn the right etiquettes, how to behave in the devotee association. What is the right etiquette? Different kind of devotees, how should I deal with them? With love and affection, a lot of respect, care, love, and all of that. Then with the combination of all of that, that attracts Krishna's attention, not sentimentalism. Okay. So these are the few thoughts. Let me pause here and see if anybody has any quick question or any comment on what we discussed so far. We have more such wonderful pastimes coming up in the coming weeks. There's just one pastime from the Bhagavatam. Many more such wonderful stories and wonderful life lessons that we plan for all of you. So stay tuned, keep chanting, keep reading, keep joining the sessions. Anybody has any question? Okay, there is a question I see here. Once again, let me open the chat. Can you please explain sentence bhakti is not sentiment? Yes, that is what I've been explained. Sentiment means don't create your own ideas of doing the bhakti. Bhakti should be done. Mahajano yena gadasa bandha. That is the process. Tarko pratishto shratoyo bhavanna. Nasa rishir yash matirna bhinnam. Dharmascha tattvam nihidam guhayam mahajano yena gadasa bandha. So it is explained in the Mahabharata. Dharmascha tattvam nihidam guhayam. This tattva of dharma is very guhayam, very confidential. So how to understand that confidential knowledge? Mahajano yena gadasa bandha. So we follow in the footsteps of the great devotees, great acharya. They will teach us how to do the bhakti. So don't manufacture your own process. Don't concoct anything. Oh, I like this, I like that. Yes, great. You can like something, you can have some preference, but please make sure that it is in line with the Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. If it is not in line with them, then don't do that. Then it is all mental concoction. So it is all sentimentalism. So in the sadhana bhakti, we do the process. We just follow the instruction of the spiritual master, the bona fide spiritual master. So as I explained earlier, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. We read the scriptures, you suddenly feel something, but then you consult with the Guru, and Guru gives you the instruction. And then also you learn how to follow this instruction in the association of devotees. Otherwise, you can misunderstand or you can misinterpret that instruction given by the Guru. Oh, he said like that, who said like that? As per your own convenience, you will create your own theory. This is all risk involved in the Marga Bhakti. So how do we do that? Not only just from the Guru, but from the sadhus also. From the devotees also we learn that, I read this, I heard this, Guru said like that. So how to understand that? How to practice this? Then that is the safe path. So we don't create. Okay, there's another question here. Prabhuji, how we can understand whether we should be doing dependence or delegation in a particular situation? Yeah, simple. Do your best and leave the rest. That is the formula. Karmanna vadi karaste. You just make sure you don't give up on your process. You do as if everything depends on you, and then keep doing. But for the results, you think as if everything depends on Krishna. Yes. So it is not two things. It is parallelly two things. It's not like first I'll be diligent. Then my diligence is work. My work is done. Now I'll become dependent. No, while doing your work, you are dependent on Krishna. That is the consciousness. I'm doing all of this, but I know if Krishna wishes, Krishna will give me the results. Like for example, when, we are very newly, we join the temple and we talk to the devotees and sometimes they say, how to give a class? You have to give the class. thousands of people sitting. So you have to prepare, right? So many things can be said, but then the last thing is dependent on Krishna. But in the bracket, dependent on Krishna when you are prepared well. Without preparing well, don't say that I'm dependent on Krishna, so I'll just speak the class. No, when you are talking about some topic, go do your study, research, read what the Bhagavatam says, what the Gita says, what Prabhupada says, some stories, some pastimes related to that. Prepare well and come. That is your diligence, preparing. But then, when you come to give the class, what you will be able to remember, how much ever you will be able to remember, what kind of questions will be asked, what kind of answer will come out, that is dependence. So you cannot say, oh, I prepared so well, now I can do wonderful job. If Krishna wishes, you can do wonderful job. Krishna makes you forgetful, then you forget the whole class only. Say, I prepared well, but what I prepared, I don't remember. It can happen. Krishna can make us to do that sometime. Right? So that is how the process is. Krishna says, no, matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. The knowledge, remembrance, intelligence, everything comes from me. So devotee should always remember all of those things. Though I prepared well, but ultimately that intelligence and that remembrance has to come from Krishna. I am not confident about my own preparation. That oh, I so prepared so well. I'm such a good speaker. So I can really, deliver something wonderful to transform the heart. No, the right words, the right time, the right consciousness has to come by Krishna's inspiration. So it goes in parallel, the diligence and the dependence. Hope that answers your question, Mataji. Yes.
So earlier in the class you had mentioned about the 4 steps and the final step being the Ishwar Madhurya feeling, right? So I'm just wondering why the affection is beyond even the knowledge of the Brahmagyan. Why would it be at that final level?
That is what is going on. In the Brahmagyan, you know only about the greatness of the Lord. Sweetness of the Lord is not still explained at that level. Means I explained, like you go to God to ask God, give me daily bread. But in the sweetness, then the Madhurya, God comes and says, give me my daily bread. So Lord becomes subordinate. So that is what is today's discussion. How to control God. This is the art. That happens at that level, that God can be controlled. Who can control God? Devotion can control God. So that is why this devotion, that Madhurya Gyan, has been put on the top. And God is also a subordinate. That's the understanding. But God is never subordinate. We should know that greatness of the God. So God chose to be subordinate. He is not subordinate. He chose to be the subordinate. That's the understanding. Okay. Can you please share slide of affection leading to bhakti? Who is showing affection? Can you please share side of affection?
That slide where you showed, no?
Mm-hmm.
I had a question on that.
Let me share the slide.
Yes. So here, Hare Krishna, what I could not, so God's sweetness. So he's asking people like us to do submission and affection and therefore bhakti. Or it is saying that if we do it, then Krishna will show affection back.
Yeah.
Says
So
Krishna
bhakti is the
becomes
combination
vulnerable
of bhakti is the combination of submission and affection. So initially,
our submission.
yes, our submission, and our affection to the Krishna. So initially, we had to submit to Krishna. That is sadhana bhakti. And gradually, when we advance, then that will lead us to develop the affection for Krishna. And at the level of affection, then Krishna becomes your subordinate. So here in this particular pastime, actually, it's a beautiful story that, Nanda Maharaj, when he used to go for work, like he goes out. So, as a father, he'll say, okay, Krishna, please bring my slippers. Small boy. He is the Supreme Lord. And Krishna, the small boy, he'll go, and the slippers like that, wooden slippers, little heavy also. So Krishna will try to, lift them. For him, it is heavy. And he'll lift it like it's too heavy. So he'll put on his head like this. Slippers of Nanda Maharaj is putting on the head and is slowly walking. And is bringing and putting the slippers too. And so Krishna becomes subordinate to the devotees. But it should be starting from the submission. There is sadhana bhakti. Then Ragana Bhakti, where you develop a lot of affection, and Krishna become your subordinate. So, and that clarifies the point.
Yeah, that clarifies. And why do we say God's greatness? Means we are submitting to His greatness. That's what we are
Yes,
trying to say.
yes. God's, when you see the God's greatness, automatically there is a submission comes.
You
When you see
submission.
somebody is very powerful, you submit, right? But to the powerful person, you cannot be very affectionate. Like say, Prabhupada gives the example of this High Court judge, right? The judge is sitting in the office in the High Court. It's a very powerful person. So people doesn't go there. Say, oh sir, you are so sweet. Nobody talks to the judge like this. Everybody just gets up and salute. But the same judge go home when the grandchild is waiting for him. That same judge becomes the horse for the grandchild, right? So there is a relation is different. The grandchild doesn't understand the greatness of that is the High Court judge. For him, he is his sweet grandfather. So then automatically there's a lot of affection there, right? So with the greatness comes submission, the sweetness comes affection.
That call. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Wonderful. Thank you for asking all these questions. Okay, I have one more question. So Rekha ji, we celebrate Diwali for Lord Krishna killing Narakasur as the main reason nowadays, though there are several other reasons. When Krishna was here, what was the reason for Diwali celebration? Yeah, so the Narakasura is one pastime. Another pastime for Diwali is when Lord Ramchandra came from the Vanvas after 14 years of Vanvas, and all the Ayodhya were eagerly waiting for his return. And when Lord came, and they all celebrated that day by lighting the lamps, and that celebrated as Diwali. That is also another pastime associated with this Diwali day. Yes, this Narkasur is also another pastime. Krishna killed that. Yeah. And I'm sure there might be few more. So maybe in some other occasion we can try to discuss that. Okay. So let us now chant one round of Hare Krishna mantra in submission and also with little affection. And we'll chant nicely. And that will help us. Okay, join me in chanting. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya